Hey kids, can't get your game on? Go ahead and get Funko Cereal featuring Cuphead and Mugman. Get it now! Alright, hello one and all to the first episode of Pop Addict. So in this episode we're going to be looking at a couple Indie Star products from Funko and Funko Pops. So here we have the Cuphead and Mugman cereal. Mostly I just want to talk about the novelty and the prize inside because the cereal, it's pretty good. I've had a whole thing of Funkos before. So we're just going to crack into this box, get the prize, live the life. And I'm actually going to be doing a full analysis of this ink Bendy in this episode, so, you know, good stuff and really fun to do. So, yeah, let's just get right into it. I am super excited to finally do this series. And if you guys want me to do specific Funko Pops, tell me in wherever you find me. So, aside from my delicious jingle there at the beginning, yes, there is a Cuphead and Mugman cereal. They do this with a lot of Funko stuff. I think Conan has one, if I'm not mistaken. I'm trying to think of everyone they've done, but the only one that really sticks out in my head is this one, and well, there's the prize. So, the thing is, I've had this sitting on the shelf, so I can't really talk about the cereal too very much, which is why I'm going straight into the Funko. The most big thing I want to know is whether this is actually still just like the others. Okay, so I've just gotten him out of his package, and I cannot seem to get the camera to focus on this cute little Cuphead face. But as you can see, it is a very nice little figure of Cuphead. And very good detail. You can see the milk is kind of splashed around on the end of the straw. The little straw is cut out there to make it look like it goes farther in. He's got the little, "Hey, what's up?" Of course, that's how he shoots, so makes sense. Honestly, a lot of... Oh, you did it for a second. Come on. Come on. Would you... You stupid thing. Whatever. Either way, this is exactly the kind of thing that I was expecting. It's just a little tiny, hand-sized, bitty figure of Cuphead in the Funko style. Honestly, it doesn't need to be more than this, because usually people don't really open the Funkos. It's usually just a collectibles type cereal. Again, mine is just as cardboardy as the box itself now, because I've had this cereal so dang long. I'm probably just going to put the cereal back in, then reseal the lid somehow, because I absolutely love the look of this, but I did want to get Cuphead out, because I do love the idea of these little figures. So, do I recommend you grab yourself some Funkos of your favorite kind? Well, this is going to be my one and only video that even covers Funko cereal, so listen close, listen wide. I think this is a great product, especially people who love the Saturday morning era. This will remind them of a lot of things, and if they happen to be a gamer from like the 80s or 90s, they especially would like this. I think kids could enjoy it. But this feels like it's more for the adult collector, especially given that these are about 13 bucks. You could actually buy a full-sized Funko Pop for that as well. Maybe even two if you're getting them on sale. Oh, now he's actually trying to be focused in the camera so you can get a good look at him before I cut this segment. So, this is a very high-quality little figure, especially given his size, and honestly, I absolutely love it. So I'm going to put this on my shelf, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so we are moving on from one indie to the next. We're going to be talking about Bendy and the ink machine with Ink Bendy. So, real quick, a quick thought on the actual property here. I know that it's kind of lost its moment in the spotlight, but I love Bendy in all the characters, especially because Boris and the Dark Survival just came out. I love that game. Go play it. It's only $1. It's a simple game, But it's just like Bendy and the Ink Machine, where it's very fun to play, even if it's simple. And that's just what my thoughts are on the horror game in the first place, is that the Ink Machine is nothing new. But its visuals are fresh, it's a freaky atmosphere, and the characters are unforgettably wild. So, Ink Bendy just happens to be my favorite of the Pops that came out, even though I always did want the other ones. I'm glad I got myself this one. Now, a quick little kind of cool thing about the packaging is if you look on the inside flap, this is something you wouldn't see if you were in the store, you just get this little ink splot, and it's not something that was added there by me or anything. If you look, it's actually just on there. And as a matter of fact, I think, yeah, it's on this side too. And if you look around the entire box, you'll note that it's actually nowhere visible. So I think that was just a cool little thing that they added there. I like that. Subtle details, people. Subtle details. Even on the box. Alright, so we've gone on to what I call the play course of my review. This is where I'm going to turn off the camera. You can see I've actually kind of cleaned my desk. I've taken the figure out of its wrappings. And I've cleaned my hands. I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to kind of admire it, play with it, look for any scuffs. You know, the general kind of thing you do to tell if something is worth having or not. So I'll be back here in just, literally for you it'll be like half a second, and I will give you all of my thoughts over various things. So I've been playing with this for, give it about 15-20 minutes or so, and I'm here to conduct a few things and talk about a few things. So the first thing I want to do is a stand test. Now, this won't be on every Funko Pop, but the ones with more like unique molds and stuff, like, you gotta realize most of them are in the same shape in general. But some add-ons, like here you can see that Bendy's got a much thinner body than most of them. So I want to see how this guy stands on his own. And as you can see, like, absolutely no way to make it budge. I literally hit it so hard just now that, like, the camera shook, even though this is, like, yeah. So as you can see, he's very solid. He doesn't want to kind of go around. He doesn't want to fall over. So I'd give this a solid 9 out of 10 on able to stand. I feel like the thing with it that's wrong is simple. With these kind of legs and this kind of top heaviness, a lot of these figures may actually end up being kind of having the problem of falling all the time, if you know what I mean. It's not for my figure, but I'm giving it that 1 point off because I'm pretty sure it will happen. So that's my thought on that. Second thing is the paint. So here you'd think with black and white being the only thing, there's actually not a lot you can do with this, but there's actually something that I noticed, and this is probably just my figure. If I can get it to show on camera, you see right above this dot right here, you can see that there's a few scuffs on the paint that are really shiny. I think that's due to just the paint getting all over the place or something of that sort. That's kind of the only problem I have with this, but however, I don't know if I can really subtract a lot of points. I'm going to still give it a 7 out of 10 for paint job. This is Ink Bendy. So really, on a quality scale, this may not look great, but it's since the character is like covered in ink and ink blots and all that, I think it takes the look to the next level. Its imperfection kind of gives it more perfection, which is why I'm not giving this less points for that. So 7 out of 10 seems fair. for that. Everything being said, I do love the inclusion of the stand. I may have said it already, but I'll say it again if I did. I think all Pops should come with some kind of stand of this sort, because some people like the trophy-esque look that it gives them. Kind of reminds me of Smash Brothers, how the old trophies used to sit and lay. I don't know if I'd prefer it this way, because I don't know, it depends on character, I guess. I just think it's really cool. So, even though this isn't an accessory, I'll give it a 5 out of 10 for accessories, because the stand is actually a pretty good thing to have, especially given my earlier complaint that a lot of these might end up falling. The final scores I'm going to give it is based on the tinier details. Now again, since he's black and white, you wouldn't think there would be a lot of details, but I've got a few things that are good and a few things that are bad about this figure. Now, the one thing with detail that I do not like is you'll see that the eye over here is still visible. That's cool. Now, if you look over here, the eye is not even in the other side. I get it. It's because that the ink is here where the eye is supposed to be. But if it's so clearly over here, why can't it be over there? That's kind of just a nitpick, but I will be taking points off for that. I do like how they stained his gloves, and they're actually 3D on there. They're not just like painted on. It's actually fully like a 3D rendered bit of ink on there. Now, the thing is, I kind of like the look it gives it, because it makes the whole entire thing pop. But the problem is, ink probably should be considered. Like over here, it makes sense. You know, it's thick ink. And you could say the same as for this, but it doesn't look as good on the hands. So, I've been debating a lot of things about this figure, and decided that it gets a 8 out of 10 for the looks. I think it's very faithful to the character, although there's a couple of design choices that I feel like I wouldn't have done, you know? So all that being said, here is my final rating for the Ink Bendy Pop figure. 9 out of 10. Now, you gotta realize something about this. 9 out of 10s are kind of going to be rare in this show. This is a pretty good high point, though. With unique molds of this sort, it's kind of hard to fault it for what little it has wrong with it. And given the fact that the character is so recognizable in the indie community, it's good to see that he's well represented, because as a pop, some things would get skewed being a pop, if that makes sense. Not everything would work in this style, if you ask me, but I think this is about the best ink Bendy figure you can get out there, even considering the ones that are like the licensed, created by the company, you know, the action figure ones that exist do not surpass this one's quality. And when a pop can beat an action figure, even though I like pops more, that's saying something. So, again, 9 out of 10 for Ink Bendy. I hope you guys enjoyed this little indie games special and my first episode of Pop Addict. I am super into pops, and I want to keep doing this, so thank you all so much for coming to the 3Js today. I've been John, and I'll see you next time.